Here are some things that I'm grateful for. Right. Number one, top of the list, my family. Right. My parents, I realize now, right, are top tier. Doesn't have to be, this way. We don't choose the family that we're born into, but fortunately, our home was very loving. Right. My sister was also great as well. Right. So, um, family, top of the list. Right. I'm also very grateful for the gym. Being starting out, of course, it was hard, but I'm very glad I stuck to it. Right. I remember for a time for most of my training journey, I was actually going in there every single day. I didn't take any rest days, which was, some might argue was a bit foolish, but I'm glad I kept up with it. Right. It it really helps clear the mind. Right. And a particular session recently has helped me immensely when I needed it. So it's very grateful that I have access to such a place and that I have a great desire to go to such a place. I'm also grateful for living somewhere safe. Right? It's again doesn't have to be like this. We all know that there's instability in the world. There's this conflict in the world, and sometimes you're lucky, sometimes you're not. Right? And I realize that I'm very lucky. This is kind of more specific to me, but I also grew up during the kind of the golden age of where I'm from, originally from Hong Kong. So when I was growing up, you know, the Brits had just left. Uh, Things were fairly optimistic. Right? Things were looking up. This was before, the protests and stuff like that, and the crackdowns. And so, for all of my formative years and all of my childhood, looking back at it, it was spent during the golden age of this of Hong Kong of the city, right? So, um, again, doesn't have to be like this, right? I could have been born 10 years later, and things would have looked a lot different, right? Another thing I'm grateful for is being able to fly, right? That I am even in a position to learn this skill, right? Even though there are setbacks and problems, these are problems that I get to have, right? These are problems that I chose. There's a lot of people that can't choose the problems that they have to deal with, right? And flying is kind of attached to my purpose, attached to where I want to go, and so that's just another that's a bonus, right? And that's not even going into the financial side of things. All I'm saying is it's a very rare privilege when you look at it, right? Um, Another thing that I'm grateful for. There's so many things to be grateful for, by the way. Like this is just like an incomplete list, right? An incomplete list, but my job, right? Without going into detail, what I do for a day job is, even though it's, stressful, it is a lot of responsibility, and because of this responsibility, I have learned a lot, right? And I was also mentored through the process. I was supported through the process, even though it was stressful, right? It didn't have to be this way. Again, like there's a lot of people in very, jobs that they find very menial, that they're not supported in, right? And this kind of also leads into my current life setup. I'm, in a place where food and exercise in the gym, and and a lot of services are very close by, right? Very convenient. Like it's the amount of time saved, right, and the convenience itself is just, again, something that I'm very grateful for, right? Again, luck of the draw. Luck of the draw. It doesn't have to be this way. Um, we're getting to the last few items. I've written them down here. I'm grateful I found my purpose, or my younger self found purpose. What I want to do is, of course, get into space, work in the space domain, and younger me found that purpose after a lot of soul searching and a lot of just sitting, right? A lot of people haven't found their purpose, or they disown their purpose, or they never get to, or they never come around to discovering it, right? So I'm thankful I kind of figured out why I'm here, essentially. I'm also grateful for just being on self-improvement. Younger me decided to quit video games, decided to quit drinking, plus other, unmentionables, right? The, the 18 plus things that, young men do or young men watch. So I'm grateful he decided to quit all that, because, today would have been a lot different. So there's so much to be grateful for. Some of these are, honestly just based on luck, based on providence. Others, younger me kind of put me onto this, right? But either way, I know there's ways to go. Right? There's always ways to go. I'm never going to be done. But in a certain way, right? All of this, all of, what's happening currently in my life, all of this is, in a way, already extra, already just on top of something that is already really, really fortunate, right? So, anyways, just some thoughts. I hope that helped.